Welcome to our second lesson. This one will be on formulating ideas and solutions, respectively, to the problems we talked about in our first lesson. So before we get into the solutions, a quick recap of all the problems that we talked about in our first lesson. So these are the four types of problems. The first one are global problems, and they're basically complex problems that impact various aspects of human life all around the globe. The second one is niche problems, and they're specific, often lesser known issues that affect particular communities and groups that often share a similar trait. Our third problem is lack of convenience problems, and they're for situations where people face difficulties due to a lack of early accessible or user-friendly solutions. And our last one are the needs improvement problems, which often refers to systems or processes that are functioning but could be enhanced to better meet the needs of an individual. So, yeah.
Okay, so starting off with our solutions, we're first going to talk about global solutions. For these solutions, it's really important that global solutions addresses the root cause or causes of the issue, and it should bring meaningful and sustainable positive change. Global solutions, global issues and problems can be very complex and can have very difficult natures to deal with. So it's really important that when you're trying to come up with a global solution, you have a holistic approach. And that basically means that you should consider the multi-based nature of global problems. Another thing or to be important or to keep in mind is that when coming up with your global solution, it should be evidence-based. It should be based on research and expert insights so you can have the most effective solution because your solution will impact a lot of people. Next up, obviously, when coming up with these solutions, you're going to have to be very collaborative. Coming up with solutions often require collaboration between governments, organizations, nonprofits, just because you can't tackle a global issue all by yourself. It is important for global solutions also to be adaptable. It should be adaptable to changing circumstances. Once again, global issues can be very complicated and they can change over time. So your solution should be able to adapt to that. And finally, global issues are obviously extremely large. So your solution should be scalable. It should have the potential to apply to a larger scale of people or places.
And one of the examples of global solutions that we talk about is climate change that we mentioned in our last video or lesson.
Yeah, and its solution could be investing in renewable energy, for example. All right, niche solutions is up next. Now, when coming up with niche solutions, they often require specialized knowledge and targeting towards the solutions, right? So it's really important solutions should be tailored and have a meaningful impact towards that specific group that you're targeting. Solutions should also be practical. They should be feasible within the existing constraints of the niche. So as we mentioned in the last video, niche problems are really only affecting a specific group of people, and your niche solution should be tailored toward that specific group. Some key characteristics about niche solutions is that they should have innovation potential. You should be using creative approaches to solving a specific problem or circumstance. Niche solutions should also have longevity. The solution is not easily replicated and solves the problem for a long time to come, right? The reason why this is so important is because it can really help out that niche group of people for a really long time. And finally, as I mentioned before, I'm just going to stress it again, these solutions should be practical and they should be feasible. An example of this, as we mentioned before, let's say there's a niche group of people that don't really have time to get a car or don't have a car at the moment and they need some place to go. A niche solution for that specific group of people tailored to them is Uber or Lyft.
Then our third type of solution is a lack of convenience solution. And this basically simplifies the processes and enhances the overall user experience. So it makes tasks more efficient and user-friendly. And some of the key characteristics are, the first one is the user-centered design. So the solution needs to be designed for the limitations and the pain points of the user. And then some of the other key characteristics are like the efficiency. So these solutions should basically save time and effort, which makes tasks quicker and more straightforward to accomplish. Or they should be more accessible, which basically means that solutions should be more accessible to a wide range of users, including those with disabilities or different levels of technological proficiency. And if it's a tech-based solution, it should have an intuitive interface. The solution should have intuitive and user-friendly interfaces that require minimal learning curve and allow users to navigate tasks seamlessly. And they should be customizable, so they should have custom settings, preferences, whatever to fit the user's needs. And all these characteristics are to help user be more efficient, as in save time or save effort, hence improving their convenience. And our last type of solution is the needs improvement solutions. And this addresses and identifies the shortcomings or inefficiencies in a process, system, or situation. So one of the characteristics is the feedback loop. And that basically establishes mechanisms for gathering feedback so you can improve it. So most of these needs improvement solutions have some sort of feedback loop. So you can acquire and gather data or feedback from your customers so you can improve your product based on that feedback. And another one is incremental change. And that basically means gradual improvements lead to a significant overall improvement. So when you're trying to improve something, sometimes you can't create a solution that drastically changes how something works because people won't adopt it. So you can start off with incremental change. So you can change and improve a particular aspect one at a time. And some of the other ways to improve a current solution is by optimizing resources. So your solution could aim to optimize resource allocation and reduce waste. Sometimes it's not about creating the better solution that improves something for the user, but it could be improving the amount of waste. So basically having less waste or using less resources to come up with the same solution. Another one is cost effectiveness. Solutions should provide value that outweighs the cost of implementation. So if something is improving the user's life by a tiny bit, you shouldn't be using an excessive amount of money to like sell that. Or like I said about the resource optimization one, it could be solving the same problem, but it could be basically be for cheaper, which saves the user money. And lastly, last key characteristic is the flexibility. So your solution should be adaptable to changing circumstances and evolving needs. This is a common one among all the solutions, but in terms of needs improvement, flexibility is important because it like when something is being improved and a new solution comes into the market, you should be able to adapt your solution to match or somehow show that it's unique compared to the newer solution. An example of this would be like the iPhone. Like I said in the last lesson, there was already phones and other electronics at the time when the iPhone was invented, but the iPhone came in and improved a lot of features and abilities that the previous phones couldn't do. So it provided an improvement of quality of life, it saved time and improved the solution that was there before.
All right, so now that we've covered all the different types of solutions, hopefully we want you to pause the video, find an existing product for each type of problem, right? So find one for global, find a product for niche, find a product for lack of convenience, and find a product for needs improvement. Pause the video. Okay, Now, hopefully from the last video, you came up with 5 different types of problems. Um, we want you to pause the video and innovate. Come up with a solution to each one of your 5 problems that you came up with in the previous video. And these solutions could be any one or any type that we talked about today.